everyone, this is the Geeky Panda here, bringing guys another one of my videos. This time I'm gonna do my own tier listing here. So not too long ago, a lot of content creators out there, big and small, decided to put out their Battlefield tier list. And with me, with thinking like, hey, I've been playing Battlefield series ever since the beginning, I'm a huge fan of it still, where's my tier list? So this video, I'm gonna actually post my own tier list with this. Again, I've been playing Battlefield ever since the beginning with 1942. I've been basically played mostly every single Battlefield game to date, with the exception of 2 games, and I'll tell you guys what those 2 games are. So other than that, let's begin out there. So first and foremost here, I'm using the Battlefield franchise tier list maker. I'll put it down in the description box below if you want to do your own tier list. So we got it was hard because not all the tier lists out there, some of them had most of the Battlefield games, but not all of them, including the free-to-play stuff. It was like this and that. Finally, someone pretty much got basically all of them. So easy tier list here. God tier, very good, decent, meh, bad, dog shit, and never played. First and foremost, I'm gonna have Battlefield 1942, the game that started it all. So I have extremely very fond memories playing this game. It was one of those games that when I first got it, I wasn't able to play it because the operating system we used was Windows ME, and ME fucking sucked. I'm not gonna lie, even though Time Force News has a physical copy of it, I don't know why, but when I did actually got to play it, got to play on my freaking family's Dell PC, I was hooked immediately. I enjoyed it. I loved it. But this was back then during 56K modem. High-speed internet wasn't, well established as it is now. So you can imagine the games I was like basically lagging like a motherfucker out there. But overall, I had a lot of fun. My dad actually took me to this LAN center. It was actually a town or 2 over, called The Cave. They got all these computer setups. They got this dedicated console couch area. But overall, we all played PC games, stuff like Unreal Tournament, Counter-Strike, but a lot of people played Battlefield in there, and Battlefield 1942 with the Desert Combat mod was the most popular. When the mod came out, everyone was playing it. Absolutely everyone. Like, I was able to, download, bring my PC to a friend's house because he had high-speed internet, download all the updates I need, the mod and all that dang stuff, and try to play it. But if I wasn't trying to play at home with the 56K modem, I was at the LAN center, and they did all-nighter events too, so it was a lot of fun. And then when we finally got high-speed internet DSL, I just dove in there even more. The LAN center had its own dedicated server that they used for Desert Combat, so I joined it. So whether if at home or at the LAN center, I'm still playing with the locals there. So I had a lot of fun with this. The game was great and fantastic. Tons of great maps. Also, you had the modding scene out there, definitely putting it into very good. I'm gonna try to do chronological order best I can. So next up, Battlefield Vietnam. I'm going to say it's a decent approach to it. It wasn't as good as 1942. It felt like more of an expansion pack. One of the highlights is the ability to blast music into Huey flying over, the Viet Cong, which it never gets old. Or you can put even your custom tracks to it. It wasn't as good as 1942, so it ended up, I just basically went back to 1942 with the Desert Combat mod. And yes, I did play the expansion packs, Road to Rome and Secrets of World War II, was it? But, the mod was big and you just played the mod. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it in decent. But other than that, the big one is going to be Battlefield 2. This is our first game in the God tier list here. Now, the funny thing is, the Desert Combat mod team actually helped support and create this game with DICE. And it definitely showed. The game was absolutely fantastic. It was basically the groundwork in creating the Battlefield game that we know today here. Both teams combined arms with, vehicles, with, tanks, armor, jets, helicopters flying around. Conquest mode was the name of the play. But the commander, players can be the commander and then call in assets like artillery strikes, supply drops, or recon. You got the whole squad set up now too, so people can join squads and stuff like that. More communication, voice over IP over it as well. It was a lot of fun. And I remember when we were living in Ohio, yes, I know Ohio, there was this get-together LAN event, and I always went, and a lot of the games we played, there was like Counter-Strike Source and all that stuff, but it was Battlefield 2. Definitely the game to play. I have a lot of great fond memories of it. I think I still have my physical copy of the game somewhere in my room. I don't know where. I need to kind of find it. If not, I'll just replace it. It's still on my Steam account too. Like, it's on there. and my EA account as well, so I can just always re-download it whenever I want to. But this was the game, and the modding scene again came back hard. You got games like Project Reality, which eventually, you know, which it is a eventually became Squad for its spiritual successor. It started off with Battlefield 2. So, but this was the game to play. It was so much fucking fun. One of my top favorite maps in there was Strike at Card Camp, but it was an A-Fest. Gulf of Oman, fucking loved it to death. And I want to say Dragon Valley was one of them, or something else. It was the oil field map that was featured in the intro. I forgot what it's called off the top of my head, but I enjoyed it a lot. And I did play the expansion packs. I think, was it the expansion that basically popped the EU, and then they got the the Special Forces expansion pack. Yep. And then they brought out the one that brought out the EU faction, and then the last one was basically centered around the US getting invaded, which was an interesting concept. So, because we always saw maps in like distant countries, but never in, like, you know, in our own backyard. So overall, I love this game to death. It is always going to be my great fallback Battlefield title to date, and people still play it. Like, there are still an active, not big, but a very, very small dedicated community playing Battlefield 2. So this is one of those moments where the game again felt more like an expansion pack. I believe it only came a year after Battlefield 2 or something like that. And I had fun with it. I did like the futuristic setting, the uniqueness of it. I would put it in decent, but the Titan game mode was a lot of fun, so I'm gonna put it in very good. Imagine the map where two floating Titan ships, you know, you just sit there, and your objective is to get rid of the shields, which you have to take over these missile sites to help take out the shields, and then you have to board the enemy ship, go to the core, destroy it, and then get the fuck out before the whole ship blows up. But you also got to defend your own Titan ship. And I remember at the beginning, you were able to move the ships. So eventually players are like, either they were far apart from each other, or literally pirate ship epic battle going on, drop pods coming in, people were trying to, you know, fight them off and like head over to the other ship. It was pure chaos, and I loved every single second of it. Honestly, I would not mind a remake of this game. Please bring it out. This would be awesome, but bring back Titan mode and bring back the ability to move the ships so you can have those epic ship-to-ship battles, basically. So I'm gonna put it into very good there. So, and but yeah, it wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad at all. Yeah, a Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. Now, I never played a lot of this back in the PS2 Xbox original days. I basically played a lot of the multiplayer demo that came on the Xbox official magazine. So, but when I played it on the Xbox 360, you know, the campaign was just playing with bots. Multiplayer was okay, it was fun. It was just DICE's first foray into the console gaming market. Overall, I'm just gonna put it to meh. It was kind of like it was an okay first attempt, you know. That's pretty much it. It was an okay first attempt. All right, Bad Company. This was an interesting take here because Battlefield never really had a campaign. I wouldn't consider Modern Combat's campaign a campaign, really, but this one was actually Battlefield's first real campaign story. And overall, I had a lot of fun. It was very decent. The game introduced more destruction mechanics, which was awesome. But the rush mode, it was fucking amazing. I enjoyed it, but I had a lot of fun. I would put it a little higher, maybe, but you know, it was a decent Battlefield attempt there. I you know, just blowing stuff up and blowing it up again. I remember the marketing to this game. It was on point. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put in very good. Actually, let's put in a very good. I feel more comfortable there. And do note that me back then as a Battlefield fan, I played it on multiple platforms at once. I didn't just stick with just PC or just an Xbox or PS3. No, I played on all platforms. So yeah, we're gonna put it in a very good. Had a lot of fun. Now, Battlefield Heroes. Now, imagine a game where you have Team Fortress 2 meets Battlefield, and this is pretty much it. Free-to-play game, had microtransactions. I mean, it was okay, to be honest, but that really was it. It was just, I wouldn't even call it meh. It was kind of, it didn't really stick with me too much. It was kind of like a distraction and nothing else. So I'm probably gonna put it in the bad area there. I know there were some people who really liked it, but just for me, it was kind of like a meh. Next up, I remember this came out in college. I took the T in Pittsburgh to go to the GameStop, and holy hell bells, we had a lot of fucking fun playing this. The second god tier Battlefield game, Battlefield Bad Company 2 campaign, a lot better, still the same gang with its humor. The destruction system even got better and better. Fucking, it was just overall, you bought the game to, you bought the game for the multiplayer, and then the campaign was a fun side, shenanigans. But this was a lot of fucking fun. I had so many great fond memories playing this game. And this was actually the first Bad Company game that came out on the PC. The original Bad Company never came out on the PC. We never got a port of it. But Bad Company 2, we finally were able to play it, and we had a bigger player count, I believe. Yeah, up to 32 players. Because I think the console, we were only up to 24. But it was just so much fucking fun, and the Vietnam DLC was actually fan-fucking-tastic. So again, it was a home fucking run. Something like that, the DLC didn't need to be its own game, but having it with Battlefield Bad Company 2 as a DLC, it made it even better. Like, it just sucks that you cannot buy it digitally anymore. EA shut it down. So the only way you can play it is if you have physical copies of it for the consoles like the PS3 or the Xbox 360, or you already bought it on PC. So, and I believe they're going to shut the servers down anyways later on this year, but I'm sure people are going to have like a resurrection project for the PC at least to keep it going. So again, it's not a lot of people that play it, but it's a very small but very dedicated community that just likes to blow stuff up because of the destruction system. One map, I forgot what map it was, but we were defending, and there was all these trees all around. So what did I end up doing? I destroyed every single fucking tree, and it was a guarantee win because we could actually see those guys coming in. I actually played with a couple of friends of mine, because they had a whole like LAN set up in their house. It was awesome, but we just constantly played Bad Company 2 together, and it was just a lot of fun, and we just ruled the server basically. I remember we actually kind of did a little trolling. There were servers out there on Bad Company 2 that were essentially Christian-based servers. But the funny thing was, there was one of the rules was like no cursing, even though your in-game character would be would just say all this shit, So we would just skirt around on the line before some of us get kicked or banned. But it was funny. Overall, had a great moment, had a fun time. Definitely got tier material. All right, so Battlefield Play for Free was basically an updated version of Battlefield 2, but play for free. It was okay, it just, like, I played a little bit of it, not a lot, but it was just, I don't know where to put it in meh or bad. Like, meh, I at least played a decent amount of time with Battlefield Play for Free. I didn't play a lot of time with it, so I'm just put in the bad. Again, I don't have any fond memories of it at all. I just remember signing up for it, trying it out, and then like, oh, okay, so it's basically Battlefield 2 with just a few minor things here or there, but it just never really clicked with me. Now, Battlefield Online, this is actually interesting here. This is the one of the two Battlefield games I never got to play because this was region locked. This was specifically for the South Korean market out there, so I was never able to play it. It was basically, again, an updated version of Battlefield 2, but that was pretty much it. So yeah, that was one of the Battlefield games I never got to play out there. Let's see what the other Battlefield game is out, So, next up here, actually, Battlefield 1943. Again, I remember this released in college, and it was basically the Frostbite engine from the Bad Company games, but 1942. But it was only the Pacific Theater, and there wasn't a lot of like options per se. Very, very small handful of maps. I think one of it was Guadalcanal, Wake Island, naturally, but it was just very limited. It was decent. I had fun here and there playing it. It was a decent fun time, but that was really it. It wasn't a full-blown game. It was an arcade game essentially. So I didn't pay a lot of money for it, thankfully. But yeah, it was just a decent, small, fun time, like a nice, fun distraction, basically. All right, I'm gonna add this to the God tier section again, and again, this Battlefield 3, holy fucking shit. Campaign-wise, not bad at all. But graphics was fucking incredible if you were able to get it up there. But the gameplay itself, especially for the multiplayer, was absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. I enjoyed every single second of this, and it just, so many people were playing it, and I was working at GameStop back home after, you know, after college. I never graduated, so I pre-ordered not only the PC version, the Xbox 360 version, and the PlayStation 3 version. So basically I had it all. And I remember a time like Bad Company, no, Battlefield 3, such great maps, but Caspian Border, fucking fantastic. I enjoyed that shit out of that map. And then eventually they got the premium system for it, which, if you're wondering, the premium was basically paid DLC. You can either buy the premium pass, which was like, I believe, $50 or $60, but it guarantees you all the DLC packs coming out, or you can buy them separately. And the DLC packs were actually pretty good. Some really awesome, fun maps in there, and they brought back some of the classics too, which I was so from Battlefield 2. So, which I think Gulf of Oman and Strike a Karkan were definitely two maps they brought back, and Wake Island. Oh my god, it's just, this game, the community was so fucking awesome. Battlefield Friends started off, I believe, with Battlefield 3. It was kind of like the, you know, the Titans, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. And Battlefield 3 definitely was a heavy fucking hitter. It like, there was a meme. It's like, in Call of Duty, you had to call in an airstrike. In Battlefield, you are the airstrike. So again, great absolute fucking game out there. Definite god tier material. After 3, Battlefield 4. Now this is where it gets interesting. 4 had a pretty buggy launch. It was kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie. I remember I was playing it on the PC and the PS4 and a little bit on the Xbox One, but it was the issues, the crashes, the bugs, and all that dandy stuff. It was bad. And I remember because like me and my friends were playing on the PS4, and it was just crashing here or there. Like one of our game, like either my friend, her PS4 crashed, or my PS4 game crashed, and you know, we had to restart it up again. But there was a great game underneath it, you know, and they just had to fix the bugs and the issues. But there was a great game underneath it. They added more content. Again, I got the premium stuff, and again, it was awesome. The destruction with it was incredible. Siege of Shanghai, fucking excellent map. With the tower falling down, excellent. I'm gonna put it into very good. I would put it into god tier, but it's just, I think in my mind, 3 definitely beat out 4, but 4 was damn near close. The destruction system played a huge part into keeping it very good. Also, I fucking, you know, the premium edition had a lot of great things to it. Also, almost forgot, Battlefield 3 had Operation fucking Metro, and if you were the fuckers out there with the fucking shoddy and the fucking frag rounds, yeah, I remember the frag rounds with the shotguns were fucking crazy. Operation Metro, which ironically enough, in the beginning, it actually started off top level. The attacking team, the US side, actually had an LAV to back them up, and you would, you know, duke it out on top. Once you took it, an explosion happened in the entrance of the Metro, and you guys pushed in. And it was just basically a fuck fest, the meat grinder. Battlefield 4 had Operation Locker, which was, again, a meat grinder. And then they eventually just decided to bring back Operation Metro, which, but this time, we just started in the fucking, you know, in the Metro itself. So, but yeah, that was a little tidbit there. I almost forgot with Battlefield 3. But yeah, Battlefield 4, I had a lot of fun with it. The Easter eggs was awesome with the Megalodon and all that dandy stuff. It was like the huge mystery of how to activate it. And again, Battlefield Friends made some great shorts with it, which I was included. I was mentioned in like 1 or 2 of them. So, other than that, it was overall, I had a great fun time with it. And people still play it today. You know, if I would recommend, like, hey, if you're out of the Battlefield games out there, there are still people playing Battlefield 4. I would pick it up. You can get a dirt cheap now and have a fun time. So, next up, Battlefield Hardline. So, Hardline, it was, again, that situation where it felt more like an expansion pack. It could have been like a DLC expansion rather than a full game, but the campaign, the story was actually not that bad. The cops and robbers thing was kind of unique, but again, it didn't add in a lot of that classic military theme, a lot of things you can use, all that kind of stuff. But it was good on its own. It was definitely good on its own. I'm gonna put it to decent. I didn't put a lot of time into it, but from the time I played, I definitely had fun. But it was just a nice side hustle. There are fans out there that love this game and stuff. And yes, people still do play it. But to me personally, I would put it in the decent category. It definitely stands out a little bit, but this is also a game made by Visceral. Yeah, I think that was the name, which were basically the Dead Space creators, which they did had a few Dead Space Easter eggs in there. So it wasn't DICE that made this. It was based on the Dead Space guys. So, all right. The fourth title to go up on the list, and it's actually going to be my fourth god tier, Battlefield 1. Fucking incredible. Like, a World War I game for a Battlefield game. You wouldn't really expect it, but they, you know, they fucking did it. Like, playing the game, the multiplayer felt like a cinematic experience, especially when you turn off the HUD. The campaign missions with the multiple short stories showing the different sides of the war, I thought it was actually a fantastic idea. But the multiplayer, oh my god, this was how you did it. Seeing that fucking Zeppelin coming in, you're like, oh shit. But seeing that fucker fall, come down hard, and you're like, yes, you know, absolutely fucking incredible. This game here, you know, should not be ignored at all. It definitely left a really great footprint in the Battlefield series out there. So, which, you know, I can't say the same for the next two. Here's the problem I had with Battlefield 4. There wasn't a lot of content in the beginning. It had issues and stuff like that, but there wasn't a lot of content. And the maps, I didn't feel like it had a lot of maps that were like wide open, combined armed maps that felt like Battlefield. Like, there was one that they released post-launch. I forgot what it was called, but it was a fun map. I enjoyed it a lot. But the problem I had with this game is that EA pulled the plug on it before it could actually be a better game. This was Battlefield's first live, well, I wouldn't say their first live service. They got the free-to-play stuff, but first AAA live service game, and it fell flat because, again, EA pulled the fucking plug. The Pacific update was actually a turn in the right fucking direction. DICE got their shit together and started making a really good game out of this and adding in more content. Like, again, the Pacific update was like, holy shit, this is a sign of good times, you know. I can't wait for like the Western Front. I can't wait for the Eastern Front. And then EA announced that they're stopping all, you know, production basically. So there was some really cool, awesome moments with this. The Last Tiger campaign mission was fucking excellent. Beautifully well done. The game soundtrack was awesome. But it was kind of rough in a way, you know. It just, I would say decent at best. It was a decent Battlefield title. I would put it up higher, but we never got to see the future DLC that was planned for it. So they were taking steps into the right direction, but they never had a chance to finish the job. All right, Battlefield 2042. Oh, whoo. So here's the deal. I was originally gonna put this in dog shit, but there were updates after updates that made it into a better game. Here's the also deal. Battlefield 4 launched really buggy, but underneath it was a really great game. Battlefield 2042 launched really, really fucking bad. I'm not even gonna get into it, but it was a really horrible launch. But the thing was, there wasn't a lot of content, and it needed to be developed into a good game. Like, the specialist system I fucking hated, because it, instead of promoting teamwork with like the class-based system that the previous Battlefields had, they ignored it, having a specialist system. Anyone could do anything. It was like an omni class basically, and it didn't promote teamwork at all. It just actually made people greedy in a sense, you know. So, but now they fixed it. They added the class-based system. They had scoreboard, which I don't know why they fucking took that, you know, never had that in there. My also issue is that they were dedicated to fixing this game, and believe me, they came a long fucking way. I will give credit where credit is due. Battlefield 2042's lack of content made me miss the premium system with Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, because with the premium pass system, those DLC packs had at least 3 maps minimum, I believe. Well, Battlefield 2042's AAA live service, each new season, 1 new map and 1 map rework. Granted, the original maps they released definitely needed an overhaul. But 1 new map per season? Like, can you give us at least 2 new maps per season? Granted, you know, we got all, they did announce season 6, so another season and a new map coming, but it's just, it's like one of those things. It's like, you could have done this. Also, I almost forgot to mention Battlefield 5's Firestorm, a battle royale, fun, but it just, again, they didn't really support it and it just kind of fell flat. Battlefield 2042 had Hazard Zone, a loot, extract shooter, and it was the same thing like Firestorm. They released it and never really updated it or added content, and it just fell flat. So I still play it here and there. Like, the Battlefield portal was it was a really interesting concept, and I do enjoy it. And it actually had, you know, there is, you know, its own dedicated server system in there, or as dedicated as it can be, but I wish there was dedicated servers with the base game. There was like a lot of things wrong with it, and they still haven't fixed the thing. Like, you play a game in the multiplayer, the game over, and you need to join another fucking server. There's no like persistent servers where you can play with the same group and keep on going. No, it's just you have to find a new fucking server to play on. It's just so many fucking things that it's like you were to describe a Battlefield game to someone who never played Battlefield, and this is their attempt at making a Battlefield game. It fucking showed. So, but they did fix a lot of issues. They did turn it into a decent Battlefield game. So, but it's just, again, lack of content. The content itself, I maybe miss the premium pass system with Battlefield 3, 4, and 1. If the next Battlefield had the premium passes, I would gladly pay fucking money for that. I would gladly pay money for that because it guaranteed content like new maps, new weapons, new vehicles, all that dandy stuff. But 2042, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say meh. Like, I actually tried refunding this too, which was hilarious. I was just like literally a little bit over the thing for Steam, but I have to put it in meh. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's somewhere in the middle, basically. Like, they got it from dog shit to meh, which is amazing on their own. Again, give credit where credit is due. They definitely made it better. They definitely made it more into a Battlefield game, but it shouldn't have started like that to begin with. It should have had everything from the get-go, day one. So I'm hoping the next Battlefield game would, you know, they would realize the mistakes of 2042. And I hated the fact, I believe in an interview, one of the devs were like, people didn't understand the special system. No, we understood it. Greedy as a motherfucker, and it was way, you know, greedy fucking system. Like, player-wise, you know. So I'm gonna say meh. I feel comfortable it being meh. I would play 5 over 2042 more, to be honest. But again, circumstances. So, and then now you guys are wondering, well, Panda, that's all the Battlefield games. Well, there is one. The Battlefield mobile game that was supposed to come out, which looked like basically Battlefield 3 on the cell phone. I never got invited to the playtest. I believe the playtest was in the Asian market only. And they were planning to do an American playtest, but it never really happened. They canceled it, basically. So, which I believe at 2042 basically helped put the nail in that coffin. So, yeah, those are essentially the 2 Battlefield games I never got to play. Everything else I played, including the DLCs and expansions and stuff like that. So, yeah. But overall, yeah, no. I think this is a pretty good solid list right here. Let's go through it again. God tier: Battlefield 2, Bad Company 2, 3, and 1. Very good. 1942, 2142, Bad Company 1 and 4. Decent: Vietnam, 1943, Hardline, and 5. Meh: Battlefield 2, Modern Combat, and 2042. Bad: Battlefield Heroes and Play for Free. Dog shit. Surprisingly nothing, and never played was Battlefield Online. So I think I got a pretty good solid list here. Again, I'll put it down in the description box below if you guys want to fill it out yourself. But I think, you know, this should be able to work right here. Post down in the comment box of what is some of your favorite Battlefield games out there, and what do you guys think of my list? Do you think it's a pretty fair, solid list, or is there some things you could have changed around? Don't forget that like button if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe because I got more content along the way. I also stream weekly on multiple platforms, and feel free to join my Discord where you can talk to myself and the community out there. Above all else, this is Geeky Panda here. I'm out. Stay geeky, my friends.